Welcome to Secular Soup. Stay tuned for real talk about atheism, feminism, politics, parenting, and whatever the fuck else Amy and Amy want to talk about, because this is their show. And get ready for a whole lot of motherfucking profanity.
You want to hear a secret?
I won't tell anybody. Go ahead.
If I sit next to you, I'm going to get gonorrhea. It's going to jump into me. Just two ladies hanging out.
Is it okay for me to make fun of his neck waddle if I make fun of my own neck waddle?
I'm not sure.
That's a real ethical conundrum.
Would you know if you were born a lizard person, or can you be like adopted into
I think you know.
We're such professionals.
We really are.
Buckle up, bitches. It's time to have some soup.
Not an Amy.
Not Amy with a Y.
No.
Listening to the intro, it was like, hey, it's not Amy and Amy. It's Amy and not Amy.
I know. I need to message that bitch and be like,
we should change it. We should change it to Amy and not Amy.
Seriously.
So that it'll show, because you know that it's still giving Amy credit, but recognizing that you're not getting Amy with a Y.
Right.
Or at least you're not getting one of the Amy's. One of the Amy's is not here.
She'll be back.
She pops in from time to time. Life is crazy. Well, there's a reason you and I haven't been on for a while, because it's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. That's true. You moved.
Yeah. Actually, we haven't done this since before Halloween.
That's true. And I lost my job.
Yeah. And you, so between that, so we're going to talk about depression today and mental health.
We are.
Because life is crazy.
Life is crazy.
Yeah.
I work for a big Fortune 500 company, and apparently right before the holidays, they lay people off. So their bonuses are bigger.
Yeah.
Because I was middle management area, which is, the expendable portion.
There's a reason why it's called the middle.
Yeah.
It's the middle man.
And I've been applying for jobs like crazy. And
I was actually kind of surprised.
This time of year, no one's hiring. Not really. So I've gotten a couple interviews and nothing. It's nothing. My resume is honestly, hella impressive. Yeah, nothing.
Yep. No.
I worked hard to make my resume impressive, but
you have absolutely.
I paid an AI website to create an impressive website.
Yeah.
So,
hey, you're the thing.
But no.
Make me look good.
I did.
I know I look good, but do the words to make me look good.
I did. I was like, I went on this website. I was like, oh, let me make a resume. I'm like, you know what? Let me have a robot make my resume.
Well, and that is the one glorious thing of because AI, there's that fine line. And especially when we get into the creative side of what is AI good for in the creative industry and what is it not good for. Combing the internet to steal, artist styles to then digitally and not give credit to where you found that's stealing and that's wrong. Don't do that.
Very cool.
Not very cool at all. Yeah. But what I am seeing is I need to write, just a product description. So let me feed into the chat box what the product is, the keywords that I want to emphasize about it, and have it spit out several samples of descriptors for me. And then I can take those 6, we'll just grab a number out of the air and mesh them together. And that's where the art side of it is because these words, we're using them over and over again. Exactly. These descriptors, these ideas for these products, it's a thing that's just rote. But getting creative on what words to use and what order and how to do that if you can give somebody to give you several samples for you then to go, oh, this way with that and piece these together, that's when you get. So this is where that balance I am finding
Absolutely.
as a creative person. And yeah, I'm looking at getting onto Fiverr and doing office side job work, just little bits and pieces, data entry, write up things. But it's like, how do I sell myself? So yeah, let me give the chat box information about me, and then make it look pretty, and then let me make this sound like it comes from me and not, I
think it was $1.48 for my fancy resume.
Yeah. So there's definitely
it's worth
good things in there.
Yeah, but so the other one that
you're really just waiting for the holiday season to
end, now the
is
Thanksgiving ended, because this is the Sunday after Thanksgiving that we're recording this. Now the Thanksgiving, because I had a lot of like really good leads right after Halloween, and then no one was.
But everybody's going on holiday.
Exactly. So
nobody wants to start anything because they're gonna have to pause it and then take. And so that makes sense.
So literally today, I started getting emails reminding me that I had things to do. To follow up for my application. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then this week we talked about it, that I'm going to start doing just like DoorDash or whatever, just to, kind of fill in the blanks. Cause I have things, I have savings and whatever, but I might as well just kind of like have something to do. Cause we're talking about depression, staying home,
mental health.
Is very not for me.
My sleeping has gotten really weird. Yeah. So I'm waking up between 4 and 5 a.m. And it's like I got antsy, but it's turned into a really bad time because I wake up and realize what I did and hate myself for it. And we're going to cry a lot and it's going to be fine. And so it's like, I got to get out of this house because I love my sister, but it's already a household of 6.
Well, yeah, she has children and everybody has 4 space.
Well, and they're teenage and then teenage adult children. Yeah. So this isn't small children. No. These are independent adults, and that pre-adults.
Is like, they're like, yay! Oh, you can sleep with me.
I have no privacy. I don't have my own room. I'm actually in my nibblings room right now to do this, so that I'm not, because my sister's got a really massive master bedroom, and there's a spot in there when they first bought the house. So like, hey, I know a spot. So we started calling it the pot spot. And so I'm just sleeping in this 10 by 11 foot room space adjacent to the master bedroom. It's actually part of it. There's a fireplace that sticks out that blocks a large view of the whole main bedroom. So there's privacy, but there's no door to close. Yeah. There's no, I get all of it.
Get the privacy she wants either.
No. But anyway, so got to get out of the house because I'm already upset, and if I stay here, my brain's just going to eat at me.
But it's snowing.
My brain is an ass. Well, that's just recent, so that's fine.
Okay.
Earlier, though, when I first moved here, I started driving up to Horsetooth. If you've been following me on Instagram, if you haven't, you should. But I
haven't been on anything because I've been depressed.
Yeah, you need to daily just get onto my feed on Instagram. Ignore everybody else's because it's full of really good pictures. If you enjoyed the picture that I sent you.
I did.
Of my feet in the window with the snow.
I did, yeah.
You need to see my Instagram.
Okay.
I've been time-lapse recording the sunrise over Horsetooth Reservoir lookout. Yeah, so I've been, getting up, making coffee, rolling me some joints, going up into the mountains a little bit, not very far. Really, it's not into the mountains. It's right at the edge of the foothills, looking over Fort Collins, though. So I get to look over the city. So all the lights are still on because daylight's just barely starting to creep up, and so I get to watch as the city lights die down and the sun comes up, and it's been extremely helpful for me.
I've also been doing nothing for my mental health.
Yeah, I've also been walking, like actively walking, at least 2 miles, weather allowing.
See, I've been doing.
But yes,
nothing.
The last few days have been awful, and excuse me.
I went to bed.
I
went to bed with a slice of pie last night and a fork. That's where I'm at.
Eating is hard. Eating is.
I'm in the other side of depression where I'm literally taking my emotional support pie to bed with me.
Yeah. If I was in my own place, I'd probably be sinking more. But anyway, so but no, the last few days have been really, really, really hard mentally. Like. Bad, really bad. I haven't been this bad in a while. And the snow came.
Which kind of traps a little.
Which kept me completely trapped. For one whole day, I couldn't leave the house at all. It wasn't safe. It was dark and snowy and windy and gross the whole time. And then the next day, it was still really bad, but everything wasn't going to clear up and go away until about noon, 2 p.m., somewhere around there, depending on where exactly you lived in the weather forecast area of all that snow. So yeah, I wasn't able to leave the house until early yesterday afternoon, which was good, which helped. That helped. But this last, I started to get to a point that I was saying it to myself, which was a sign that I need to be very, very aware of myself, but I was still safe. Mm-hmm. But I was recognizing that I was getting to a space, if I wasn't careful, I was no longer going to be safe. Mm-hmm. And so that scared me. I haven't been in a place like that in a long time, just even ideation, if we will. Like, oh, this is bad. It dawns on me, I need to get back into therapy.
Mm-hmm. Which is huge.
So tomorrow I'm on Medicaid, for anybody that's curious. So life is strange when it comes to these type of things. Once I can get in, it'll be fine, because thankfully in Colorado, Medicaid covers mental health care now. And so I don't even have copays. So I don't have to worry about those sort of things.
That's really good.
I don't know what the wait list is going to look like.
I lost my health insurance. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
Yep.
So I haven't had therapy in like probably about 5 or 6 weeks. And
that's bad for you.
I can tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I'm glad you're getting yourself on the list and you're going to get the help.
I'm realizing, so I have borderline personality disorder. Please don't let me bogart this entire conversation, Amy.
I'll tell you about my storage unit later.
Good. Yes. But there's a entire separate podcast I could create on borderline personality disorder.
We can do that on one.
But the short, sweet, and simple is borderline personalities tend to see a lot of things as black and white. It's either on or it's off. It's all or it's nothing. It's 100% or it's 0. Yeah, I love you. I hate you. There is no in between. And you typically hear about it in those kind of all or nothing, I love you, I hate you spaces. Mm-hmm. Love me, don't touch me. These kind of things. And yeah, I think in my leaving my partner of 14 and a half years, I had an episode.
Yeah. Which is that's a completely normal trigger. Like, that makes sense that it would be.
So, well, the trigger, my first ex-husband popped up into my life.
Yeah.
And I realized no, it triggered me. And I split, but it was prolonged because I look back on the things that I said to JJ and my cold behavior in my week of packing everything up to move out.
Yeah.
I don't know that person. And so now I'm upset. I'm okay. But I mean, in this moment, I'm okay.
Well, yes.
But on the whole, I'm upset that, my mental health has fucked up a very important relationship.
Yeah.
And right now, and there's good things there's silver linings that have come out of it for both of us. And we don't like that it took this for it to happen. But lost my thought. Gonna find it again. It'll come back. It'll be fine.
You hurt JJ.
Yeah. Yeah, but before that, it was
your
sorry
emotions and your
he can't trust me.
That makes sense.
And it makes sense. And it's really shitty though, because I can't trust me.
Because you don't know what else will make it pop up again. Until you have some kind of...
I live in this space though, that is, we know better. We strive to do better. And I see these things now. And I figured it out faster than I ever have before. Because I know so much more about myself.
Yeah.
And I've had nothing to do in the past month but think a lot about myself and what I want and who I am and what I'm looking for in myself and in life. And the only thing I can do is work more on me. And the only thing that JJ can do is work more on him. and maybe. And he himself has absolutely been like, no, you can't go back. Not anytime soon. I can't. Nope. And it's fair. It hurts. It sucks. And we both hate it.
Scary.
We both hate it. But I respect this. And so,
because it's scary to him now. Like,
and
how long?
I hate that because like, dude, this relation. But I realized today and realizing yesterday, needing to go back to therapy. I was in therapy when he and I hit our 10-year anniversary mark. And I remember being in therapy, being so afraid that he was going to leave me. 10 years. Who the fuck wants to be with me for 10 years? No. You're going to be done and you're going to leave. And I was in therapy, which kept it from being okay. Well, which helped it be okay. This time, I'm not in therapy. Mm-hmm. There wasn't anywhere for me to go to even talk about what was happening for somebody to rein me in, that third party person that's not actively in the middle of this shit show. And so it's like, oh, I need to. So I realize in a lot of my bitching to JJ, while yes, neither one of us are perfect, so ditto, there's a lot of the things that I was asking of him that was me projecting onto him.
Yeah.
It's good that I can see these things. It's really shitty that it took me moving out and moving into my sister's house because she loves me. And, it's really shitty, but
she wants you to be
here we are.
Safe and.
Oh yeah. No, I will not starve here. I will not go cold. So ditto, but
yeah. And then you'll be able to figure out where you want to go, what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing right now.
Yeah. Well, today, last month I lost my job. Right. I've had this storage unit since my divorce, which has been 7 years ago. But I had my storage unit for 5 years. And when I moved out of my house, because my divorce was 7 years, and then I lived in my house for a little while, and then I lost my house.
Right. I remember that. But yes. Anyway, digressing.
So I've had my storage unit for 5 years, and they keep increasing the price like every year. It was like incremental. And it got to the point where it was like it was a little insane. I'm like, this is stupid. Because it's just furniture I don't even like anymore. And it's random stuff. And then it's like bags of stuff. And I don't care.
What is really in here that I really want to keep now that I haven't used it for this long anyway?
Right. What do I need? What do I want? But I was like, what if it's the kids' stuff? So I had the kids come and look at it, and they were like, we don't want anything from here. So I had my ex-husband come to it, and he was like, I don't want anything from here. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, because I was like, you can have everything except the KitchenAid. And he was like, oh, well, then I don't want anything. I'm like, okay, then. And so that's what he would want.
Yeah, that's what he would want.
But it was mine because
I totally saw what was going on here.
Yeah, I was like, that's mine. You bought that for me, and that's mine, and you can't have it. But so I was going to end it last month, and I moved the money out of my account, but I didn't move enough out because I did math in my head, like, okay, this is going to hit, and then this is going to hit, and then there won't be enough for the storage unit. Storage unit went first.
Oh, fuck.
And so I was like, cool. Crap. So it pulled out, and I was like, fuck, I didn't have a job. So I was like, well, that's that's money that I don't have. And so I moved, the other things came out, whatever. I was like, okay, cool. So this month I was like, definitely not going to do it. So I left everything, like nothing in my account. And so they were like, hey, we're having trouble. And so I called them. I was like, hey, I lost my job. I'm not going to be able to pay it anymore. What do I do? And she was like, well, excuse me, you have 6 days before we put a deadbolt on it and lock your unit. And I was like, cool. So I'm like, great, I have time. But of course it's Thanksgiving week. And I put it off until literally the last day. Tomorrow's the day they put the deadbolt on it.
Oh, you did? Well,
yeah. So I went over today, and I'd had this nightmare. I used to cross stitch. I don't know if you remember that. I used to cross stitch. And then
me too. But no, I didn't know that. But okay.
Yeah, I used to cross stitch. And then when I was early married, when I was young, before I had kids, every year I would do a really big house, like a big counted cross stitch house. And I did them in all different styles, different kinds of houses, different colors. And so I have a lot of them.
Okay.
And because I did some after I had one kid, but not when I had more. And so I have all these houses.
Kids are exhausting.
And I couldn't find it in this house. And I thought back, I was like, do I remember it in my old apartment? I couldn't remember it in my old apartment. I was like, okay, where did I see it last? You know? And so I like, since I don't have anything to do and I'm stressing and I don't sleep.
Right. These days, and you might as well, keep yourself busy in weird ways.
I am unemployed and I don't know if I'm going to take a drug test. So I'm also
So you can't,
can't help
enjoy
myself
yourself.
sleep. So so I went to the storage unit and I got some things. I found all the dresses that I'd made for Charlotte. I was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
perfect.
That's
So
great.
I
Yeah.
have my dresses that I made for my daughter. I was like, that's good. I've had some
Because those
other
are
things.
fun.
I have the box of like my first things, like my first year for my oldest child. I'm like, okay, that's good. I have the thing from the ex-Mormon artist Paige Turner, who made me like this sculpture print that I years ago. I'm like, that's
Cool.
amazing. And then I was like, okay, I need to get into this piece of furniture. It's sideways, pressed up against a wall. So we pulled it open, opened it up, pulled out the drawer. It's full of all my sewing. And I was like, oh my God, how did I leave all of this stuff in here for 5 years and not realize it?
Because you
Like,
forgot.
I did.
Because the
But I'm
ADHD is strong
so,
in you.
it is. So I'm
It's
so
so fun.
glad that I
Yeah,
had
that's
that nightmare,
exciting.
because otherwise, if I had forgotten that,
You would
that
have,
would have been
yeah.
devastating. Of course, I've already befriended the manager, and so I could have gone to her and been like, "Hey, girl,
Hey, help me out.
no one cares to buy these things. You can have the rest of the stuff, but I can't,
Yeah.
And there was
This
also
has no value. And
Christmas
yeah.
pictures. Oh yeah, I can get people to do what I want, but no.
Yeah. And they met you.
But there was like Christmas pictures in there and all kinds of stuff. So it was, and so the relief. I drove away and I had my car full of. I sent you a picture of my car full of stuff.
Yes.
And just the relief when I drove away was just, because literally
It's another chapter
everything else
closing,
in there, like there's stuff that could make money, I'm sure. I don't care at this
Fuck
point.
it.
I'm
it.
just
I'm
gone.
done.
Like everything I own is in this place. Which, it's been a long time
Since,
that everything I've owned has been in one place.
That's huge. No.
Yeah. And I still have too much shit. I still need to go through it because I
was surprised at how fast I packed everything. I'd been living in this same house for like 12 consecutive years.
Yeah.
But I did purge a lot.
Yeah.
Because again, these weird silver linings, like, dude, I as a trauma survivor of weird shit, we do weird things when it comes to reorganizing our homes when we clean it.
Yeah.
And you just take everything off the shelf, you dust it, and then you just reorganize it and put it all back. Nothing really gets thrown out. Nothing gets moved somewhere else. I have found for me, a few things will get thrown out, but most of the things I'll be like, oh, well, maybe it's and you keep it. And then years later, you're looking going, why do I have this wooden thin box that's got kanji written on it by my brother, but I don't know what it says. And I'm pretty sure that this is just junk, honestly, because it was just in pencil. It wasn't fancy, guys. It's like he was taking notes on a wooden little box, a little particle board thing. I was like, no. It's like, stop carrying this shit around. I've been carrying this thing around for like 20 fucking years. Why do I have this? It was holding yarn for cross stitching.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I don't need this stuff. This is stuff that I haven't touched. And it's like, oh look, there's some cocktail dresses. Like, yeah, I haven't worn that since I fucking bought it and wore it once. Like, you can donate that to the yard sale. Covenant does a lot of their fundraising money through community yard sales. Yeah, give us a junk. And JJ tends to store a lot of that in part of his garage. So it was helpful in the packing things of, well, I'm just going to leave the clothes I don't want in the closet because for now that's the best place for them to be. There's nowhere else to put them right now, but there they are.
Yeah.
I tried to organize because I didn't want to be a bitch in the midst of me being bizarre and things that I won't go into details about what happened there. It was more of he's like, I don't want you to live in your car, because I'm like, I'm just gonna live in my car. No, you're not living in your car. You can stay here until you figure out where you're going, because I wasn't gonna ask my sister. My sister, offered, because no, I'm not gonna try to say, hey, can I come stay with you and your 4 kids?
Right. That sounds
and Keith's boyfriend practically lives here too, so it's really 5. Well, he's 19. Keith is 19 now too. They're both 19. They're adults, but anyway. So there's that. But it was like I didn't want to linger. I'm in here staying in the master bedroom by myself now, and so it's like I don't want to turn into how his ex-wife had been. when they officially separated. And
Right.
he and I were sharing a room in the house while she was in the master bedroom, but we were paying for everything.
Yeah.
We eventually moved out for a year, which is why I mentioned the consecutive years of how long
Mhm.
I've been in the house, because we moved out for a year while they were officially separating
Right.
everything. That
That
turned
makes
into her
sense.
alimony for a while there,
Mhm.
was us just paying the mortgage on the house so she could live there.
Makes sense.
But yeah, it was like, I don't want to be that person because I know how it felt to be on the other end of that. So when my sister offered her place, I
Makes sense.
jumped on it because I didn't want to be like, yeah, I've made this decision and now I'm just going to stay here
Right.
because I can't provide for myself. Because yeah, that's another really dumb thing. What mentally sound person goes to their 14 and a half year partner for 14 and a half years and be like, yeah, so I don't know where I'm going. Quoting myself now, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm not staying here.
I mean,
I can't hold a
it's
job to provide for myself. I cannot work a traditional job in any way, shape, or
but
form.
it sounds like you were protected. You were also looking out for yourself in a way
In a way, yeah.
because you were finally
I was
speaking your own,
reacting to weird shit,
but you
and
were also saying what was inside of you. Like you didn't want to be there anymore because
I
there were a
didn't
lot
want
of
to.
things that you weren't happy with.
And there was, and I won't deny that.
Yeah.
But in the time since I've left, I've realized there's a lot of those things that I wasn't happy about that are my own fault. Again, both of us are,
Well,
neither
absolutely.
one of us are perfect, but
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's that thing of I'm upset that he's not doing something,
Mhm.
but then I'm failing to tell him what I need from him very specifically in that. This is where I get upset with my mother because she did this a lot. So this is very bad learned behavior that I haven't been in a position to ever poorly experience.
Okay.
My relationship lasted no more than 2 years, and I moved. When
Mhm.
my relationships ended, I moved. Not to a different residence in town. No, I moved to different states. Like
Mhm.
I left. So yeah,
So you haven't
it's
had to face the consequences of
no.
the
And
whole
I
thing.
really think at this point, I reached a point of I felt like I wasn't getting what I was needing.
Mhm.
Realizing now that I also wasn't voicing it very well. I couldn't find the words. It was frustrating for me. I
But
needed
you weren't
therapy
giving him what he needed also.
and yeah, and failing for me to act on things and then vice versa. Something had to give. Something had to give.
It
And
makes
both of us
sense.
sit here and we're like, it's really sad that this is what happened, that I had to move out for us to both figure out where we could have done things better. Because
Mhm.
he himself is like, I should have started, he said I should have changed, but he meant more of a working more actively on himself and
Mhm.
our relationship a year ago.
Right.
Yes, because I had been begging for couples therapy for things for a while because I didn't have the answers.
Yeah.
I should have realized in those moments of begging for couples therapy that maybe I should get back into therapy myself.
Yeah.
During COVID, my therapist fired me. I like to say she fired me, because I was in a good, stable place.
Yeah.
And with the influx of new patients coming in, because again, I'm on Medicaid, she didn't see that a necessary need for me to continue regular therapy. If I had felt differently, she would have respected that. But I
Yeah.
was kind of starting to feel that same way too myself. So it was
Yeah.
amicably leaving. So this is where I think it's important to mention that there is absolutely nothing wrong and there's nothing of a failure in yourself and your being if you start therapy and you do therapy for a long time and
Mhm.
you and or your therapist both decide that it's a good time for you to
Yeah.
stop. You don't need to as much anymore right now, and that's fine. And then later for things to happen, like you have an episode and cause your life to completely flip upside down. That maybe you should get back into therapy because
Yeah.
something has
I've done it.
happened.
I've had
Something's happened
gaps.
that's triggered you.
Yeah.
You've
Absolutely.
uncovered more layers of shit and you
Mhm.
can't grow from this
Right.
fully
You
and
have to
healthily on your own. You need a
yeah.
professional. You
You
need
need to
people
go
to help
back
you.
through a lot of trauma with
And
your new brain,
there's a
basically.
lot that I have learned about my trauma since I was in therapy.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I'm sitting here as I'm going through because tomorrow I'm gonna have to go do my intake paperwork.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here going, oh, this is going to be emotional wreck because
It's
I'm
gonna be
not just
hard.
this scared. I'm not going to be this scared person sitting there going, I don't know what's wrong with me, but something's wrong with me. I'm like, oh, I know what's wrong with me.
Like,
And I need
oh,
some help because
trust
it's
me.
bad right now, So it's like, that's where it's like, oh, now I have to say these things out loud to professional. Fuck.
My fear is just before I got laid off, I filled 3 months of prescription. I'm
Oh.
probably I've been late. Haven't had a job for a little over a month,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm sitting there watching the pills go down, and I'm starting to think: do I wean myself? Do I keep taking them? What do I do? Because I know if I raw dog life, I can, and it's possible, but I have severe anxiety and PTSD, and
You no, and you can't go cold turkey on those medications.
no. It's a
And
Hexor especially, and I need to space it out, and I know I need to like half the dose, and I know how to do it. I just am really wondering if that last little bit I need to, because I'm
well, look out.
afraid of that.
There's also prescription drug cards that you can look up online.
Yeah, and
There's also check out
I have
your
a lot of job
Medicaid, check
leads.
out your state to see if they can give you some sort of unemployment benefits of things to carry you over.
Texas is a
'Cause
real shitty state to live in.
yeah, I'm sitting here going, it's Texas, so I
Um,
seriously doubt it because I live in Colorado and they're just amazeballs here.
Yeah,
So
no, it's I live in
Jared
Texas.
Polis, yes.
Yeah, I live in Texas. We have Abbott. So, yeah, we just so I'm a little nervous, but I have a lot of good job leads out there. I
Good.
apply for a metric shit ton of jobs every day. I'm sending out my resume. I'm not smoking weed. Like, I'm doing all the right things.
And you've got people to reach out to and talk to when
I
you
have
have those
people to
moments
talk
of,
to.
because that
Um,
is the part that gets rough with the
I
mental health.
I do have a lot of people to talk
Mhm.
to. I have a good social network.
Oh.
I've missed a lot of social events the past couple of months because
It looks like you finally did one.
I went out yesterday.
Hmm.
I wore leggings and a sweatshirt, which
Woo!
me, that's not me.
No.
And they were like, no one cared.
Yeah.
Everybody, I didn't even wear makeup really, but everybody was like, my friends were like, you came out of your house.
They were just happy to see you.
And they hugged me, and it was so fun. And yeah, it was my friend's birthday, and I'd missed the ball last week, and I'd missed Halloween, and I'd missed all of these other things, and I was like, you know what, it's time for me to get out and
Trying to get out.
see my friends, and I missed them all, and that picture's great. There were
that looked like you guys had a lot of fun.
there was one more person that showed up afterwards that wasn't in that picture, but it's okay. I have a picture with her too, but yeah, it was fantastic. And with this group of people, we've known each other for years. We've been through so much shit together. Like, it's one of those people.
Isn't that
you
great?
Show up, yeah. You show up, and we was karaoke. It was like a dive bar downtown Dallas, or in Deep Ellum, I guess, where we did. It was a dive bar Saturday afternoon karaoke. So we were drinking shitty swill liquor and singing bad karaoke songs and celebrating my friend's birthday. And it was fantastic.
I think that's the best.
And she was dressed like a fairy, and I was in my leggings and my sweatshirt, and
Yayness. Yay.
it was so great.
Oh,
And it was just great. Oh, my friend, I had this friend that turned to me the other day. Thanksgiving, I had Friendsgiving too. And he goes, oh, he's British. I'm not going to do the British accent.
Don't do it. No. Americans are bad at that.
Yeah. He was like, I was so bored the other day. I broke down and listened to your podcast. And I was like, I am so sorry. And I was like, what'd you think? And he was like, eh.
Oh, then he didn't listen to the episodes that I'm on.
He always tries to like, he said he listened to the last two, so he might have, but it was funny because I mean, I have a couple British friends, and they say things that are so innocuous, but are the most insulting things you've ever heard in your life because of the way they say it. Like their
vocabulary, and it's like the way that it just.
He said something. We were talking about something. It wasn't the show, and he goes, "It's a bit beige, don't you think?" And I was like, "Ah!" Like,
Amy, there's a West Wing reference for this, but I digress.
I'm sure there is. but he said something was a bit beige. And then I have this other friend that lives in England, and he's not an English Texan, but he lives in England, and he got 24-day ban on Facebook for calling someone a fucking crayon. And I was like, what does that even mean? He was like, I don't know, but he was. I was like, fair enough. He was a fucking crayon. Okay. I don't know.
But he got banned for that.
I love, so that's one thing I really love about my British friends is their things that are innocent sounding that are horrifically insulting just because. Like,
but if we as lovely Americans walk up around them, and mention anything about anybody's fanny, oh my God, it's like totally different world, man.
Oh, I know.
It's just totally
fanny pack.
Totally different.
What are you packing in there?
Woo!
What are you packing in
nice
there?
fanny you got there. I'm sorry, what?
I introduced him as my Australian friend, and he's like horrified.
Oh yeah,
horrified. I was like, I don't know where he's from.
That would be like being a New Yorker and being introduced as your Southern friend.
Oh, I know.
So I just give it to a relation to others who may not have fully grasped what that
I tell everybody, I was like, this is my friend. I don't know, he's some foreigner. I don't know, Australian or some shit. And he's just like, he was like, you foreign hussy.
Oh, that's so great.
It's fair.
Oh my goodness.
It's fair. I dressed like a mermaid for Thanksgiving this year.
Oh, that's got to be fun.
I did. I had a blue sequin halter top and a tutu. It was so much fun.
Oh, so fun.
So I'm gonna go. That moved like green and blue.
I want to go back a topic just briefly because I feel it's kind of important to mention, and especially as you were talking about medications a minute ago.
Yes, very important.
There is no medication for borderline personality disorder.
Right. You have to treat
just to be clear. Yeah. So if anybody's like, oh, you're not on your there is no medication. I'm on my medication. It's called cannabis. Mm-hmm. Cannabis is the only medication I have found that helps me at all. Yes, I am a complex PTSD. Mm-hmm. Yes, I have severe anxiety. No, I will not take anxiety medication. Cannabis is my anxiety medication.
Nothing really touches anxiety, honestly.
No, and I have tried. I've been misdiagnosed for a very long time in the beginning of my recovery journey as bipolar. And so I was on antidepressant, antipsychotic medication, which borderline should not be on any of those. In fact, one of them, that suicidal side effect actually took place. Borderlines have no business being on any kind of antipsychotic, antidepressant medication. What medications they typically are on is to help treat some of the symptoms like anxiety and the comorbidity of other things with it. So that's why therapy is
the only thing that helps CPTSD is therapy.
But what I am starting to do, because what they have found that does work with borderline, and I honestly, and as COVID came around and everybody found themselves stuck at home and sad, more and more therapists started saying they should do this. DBT skills, dialectical behavior something technique. I don't know. I always forget exactly what it's done, but it's DBT skills. And I was initially self-taught. I didn't do any workbooks. I didn't go in any group classes to learn how to do this. And I like to define it very base as learning to redirect your thoughts. Very baseline. This is a skill that I highly recommend everybody learn. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you to learn it. You don't have to be mentally ill. But if you deal with, for one, there's a checklist I could pull up here from this book. I got a workbook though.
Like,
but I've got this workbook
now.
I've got a workbook now. It's a 13, I think it's like a 13-week course. It's a self-guided course. So I do one chapter a week with exercises in the back. But with borderline, we suffer from extreme emotions, like severe. I'm screaming with no sound. Do you know how visceral and deep the emotions and the pains and the hurts and those feelings have to be? For your mouth is just open and it's disgusting, because at a certain point you start drooling because but no sound is coming out. The tears are just down. You're fucking falling and there's no sound.
So no one hears you.
And so Yeah, and
Yeah.
I have no privacy, so
Well,
I
yeah.
spend time in my car screaming.
You have to scream.
I have to scream. I
You
have to
have
get
to
it
let
out.
it out.
I
I
thankfully
think of it
have
as like
friends.
it's like poison. You have to
Mhm.
purge. You have to
Oh,
purge it.
I've sent things to JJ in the past week and a half, 2 weeks now. He and I have been slowly building where we can
Yeah.
communicate and talk,
I
because it's
accidentally
like, I
shoved you
don't
in
want to
the
fight. I don't want to be a bitch. I don't want to,
Right.
how can we be amicable and work through this? And we both want to work at, and it sounds very cliche, being friends. But honestly, this is a good space for me to be in. It's a whole other thing. But where
Well,
was
because
I
you were
going? 'Cause
friends
I wanna
first.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a lot of times people want to go back to being friends. It's like, but you never were friends.
And
But you
so
were friends
there's a
for a
huge deep
while.
connection. We both are
Yeah.
having a problem right now. We're driving around town is really hard. And doing anything is really hard because we both see things that we want to share with each other. And I'm sitting here feeling like an ass because I stopped sharing with him a long time ago. That's my problem. I stopped sharing with him a long time ago.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
there's
were
lots
upset
of
with the
reasons for that.
situation,
There's a lot of reasons for that are
but
my own insecurities and my own
yeah,
shame.
yeah.
And we both, though, and it's good and healthy that I can sit here and point to
Mhm.
my problems, because I can't change him. I
No.
can't fix him. I can't make him do anything.
No, you
I
can't
can only
can't
work on
fall in love with
myself.
someone's potential,
No, exactly. But
which is such a damaging thing too, because
I
then they're
too
like
got
never good
stagnant.
enough
I too got
for
stagnant and then was just
it
really
happens.
expecting him to fix it. It's
Yeah.
broken and I don't know how to fix it.
You
So
fix
fix it.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving any kind of solid guidance of any kind of how are we supposed to. And then I'm not doing anything on my part to figure out how I can
Right.
do better to help. Yeah, so it's a whole thing.
It's hard.
There was
Being
a
an adult is
point.
hard.
There was a point. I'll go back and listen to this and go, oh, that's what I was trying to say there. But yeah, no, there's DBT skills, learning them. That's I think ultimately it.
Well,
But the heavy emotions and just but learn them. And there are workbooks and there are group, if you like group therapy things, I don't.
I
Some
don't like
people
talking to
do.
people.
DBT skills typically in a clinic environment of you're going to a therapist office with
Mhm.
several therapists. It's a whole thing. They'll have workshops for DBT skills. So a whole bunch of folks will come together and
Okay.
learn together on how to do
I
those.
don't like
And I
it.
don't like that. I don't like that. So, but there are workbooks. There are lots of things that when you get, and Amazon sent me an email this morning going, hey, there's this book that's on sale for 99 cents today.
Nice.
Ebook, great. Sends me a link so I can print out the exercises if I actually want them on paper. So like, dude, 99 cents and one chapter a week, because I seriously need to work on this, because
Yeah.
these emotions are strong, these emotions are heavy,
It's
and
hard.
they scare me because they are so strong that my brain has moments of, I can't do this anymore. And I know those are very short-lived. And so I just got to get back into reining that in. And how do I keep those from coming back that way?
Mhm.
And then when they do, having the skills to be able to let that go faster, more
Yeah.
freely, to be more fluid with it, because it causes panic. It's really bad.
It's hard.
So, and yeah, there's no
I call it
medication.
as my I call it my bitch brain,
Yeah,
where
I've been. Oh, that's what I've been.
you
JJ has been allowing
you
me to
call
share these things with him,
yeah.
and
I have a friend
how
that I can
sorry
tell.
I am, how upset I am, the
Yeah.
realizations of things that I could do better, and I have apologized for dumping these things on him, because
Yeah.
at this point I'm the ass that left. I made this a thing that happened, so I now have to lay in the bed that I made. Although I'm very upset that I made it. And so that's my ass brain. But JJ did mention at one point when I had apologized, he's like, it's okay. You're fine. And yeah, it's better out than left in. You got to talk about it.
It's true.
And so, yeah, I'm writing more now.
Good.
So there's that.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, a whole bunch of weird stuff. But
It's a
yeah,
process.
no,
It's a process.
it's a part of journey of relationships, and no longer I've never lived in this space before. This is extremely uncharted territory, and I'm really upset on how much trauma of the past and parental behaviors and roles and how they,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
present things in their own
It,
and you mimic that, you copy that, you learn that. It's an old fucking tape that I didn't even know was still there. And it got triggered and there it is. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that's what was happening until it was all too late.
yep.
And no, I can't just
You
snap
can't,
my finger and go back and take it
you
all
just
back
see
and put myself where
something
I was. And
or someone and you're back in that mindset and you're, 12 years old again and you're being told off or something and you're just
Nope.
stuck.
And there was a lot I'm realizing of why I wasn't as forward, and
Mhm.
for lack of a better phrase with JJ right now, was from shame. And when I was sharing this with JJ, to be very this has nothing to do with JJ. JJ never made me feel shame. I never
Yeah.
felt shame for how I felt, who I was, what I liked, what I didn't. But being raised a Mormon, and
Lots of,
especially if you start talking about intimate side of things,
yeah.
any type of no, things happen to me. And I can't tell you what I like because I'm not allowed to like this.
Right. And also,
And that causes a huge strain in your relationship. But because at the same time, I'm sitting here pining to have those things that I want, but
but you
I'm
can't
not telling
articulate it.
anybody, but I
Yeah.
can't articulate it.
Yeah.
And it's such a subject that needs to be talked about
Yeah.
more with everybody because sex trauma.
I have, obviously I have some because I was raped multiple
Just
times
growing up in a conservative
growing up in a conservative.
or environment of, purity rings and
Yeah.
all this weird shit.
Growing
Like,
up
oh my
there,
God.
having sexual assault be such a major part of my
Existence in that
my
relationship
main relationships.
Mhm. It's
And
taken from you. It's not
I didn't
given.
have any
You
idea.
didn't
I
give
didn't have
it, you
any say
took it.
what happened to me, what happened with me. And then when I did start voicing things, I was shamed. I was made to feel bad for having desires. I
No.
was made to feel bad for having high sex drive. I was asked, what's wrong with you? Why do you want, why do you want that? That's so weird or whatever. Like I was shamed. And so
Yeah.
it's taken me a while. There's a couple things that happened to me where I started equating sex with being actually liked and cared for.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was in a relationship and things kind of, because it ebbs and flows. If I was in a relationship and we weren't having sex, I would freak out and think that I was no longer wanted or liked or desired, even though it was just a normal part of life.
Yeah, there's an ebb and flow of
But I
sexual
would
intimacy with
freak
your
out.
partners, and it's not necessarily a sign that
Right.
they don't
No.
want you. But
No, it
we
was
were definitely
help.
raised in an environment and made to believe, which
It was my
is
fault.
really weird, that if you're not being intimate with your partner, it's because he doesn't like you anymore.
And and also because of the way some of my other relationships started, I thought that that's what I was good for. It kind of broke in my brain. And so I thought that if I wasn't being
If I put
used,
out, he'll keep me.
basically, and he
Yeah.
likes me and he wants me. And so I would kind of badger my ex-husband for sex, and I would feel really bad if I didn't get it, and we would fight about it because I was like, he doesn't love me or want me or like me anymore because we haven't had sex in 2 days or 3 days or whatever, which is absurd.
Yeah, that
Now
is absurd. I love you, Amy, but wow. But that's how deep the trauma
it was
is and
so
how skewed
embedded.
and fucked up
And
our
even when I
perception of what's supposed to be.
got out of that
Yeah.
relationship and I, started having other relationships and stuff, it was the same thing. Like if I come over there and we don't do anything, what do I even have to offer? And so now I'm in this relationship where sex is such a minor part of it. And it's probably the healthiest relationship I've ever had. And I'm just like, I don't even, I know that it's because I'm in a better place and I know I know myself better.
You know
but
yourself better.
I also almost don't recognize myself for where I'm at. It's a strange thing. But I don't know. It's still a part of it, but it's like,
Oh, for sure.
it's not what I offer. It's,
No. Well,
It's
and
it's the icing on the
recognizing
cake is the way
it
it's
is, and defining what is intimacy
right. Well,
is huge
the
because
intimacy that we share is so much deeper.
it doesn't have to be intercourse
It's
to
usually
be
not.
intimate. And most of us, specifically those of us raised in conservative homes,
Yeah.
in
In the
traumatized
purity
environments,
culture, yeah.
we are so severely touch deprived. It's amazing we're alive at all. Let's be honest.
Honestly, my mom didn't even hug me.
Because humans, we need touch to survive. Without
Yeah.
touch, we will fucking die. The science and the research
Mhm.
proves this. And
Yeah.
so
We
when
literally
we
didn't
only
touch.
understand, because of the environments we grew up in, that the only touch that you're going to get that's going to be love is sex, that
Yes. I
cuddling
have
time
I
doesn't
have
occur to you.
literally never thought of it
Did
this
you
way.
did you ever see your parents cuddle on the couch while they watched TGI Fridays on
Rarely.
television? Yeah, no,
Rarely.
it's it's like
Yeah.
no. You
No.
might have seen them holding hands in public sometimes,
Mm,
but most of them,
they would hug. My parents would hug in the kitchen
and
and
that's
maybe
not to
kiss each
say
other, but not
necessarily
they
that
wouldn't really
there's
hug or
something.
snuggle.
It's not to say that there's something wrong with people who don't like touch. There are plenty of people
Yeah.
who just don't, and it's understandable, and that's fine. And there's other
Mhm.
ways that you learn to show your
Absolutely.
partner love and have a different type of intimacy with them. But yeah, really, what I want to be held. Fucking touch me.
Mhm.
And
All the
I
time.
want you. I want you to want to touch
Mhm.
me,
Yes.
and I want it to come from a place of love
Yes.
and not and desire. Yeah, sure, but not a demand.
Yes.
I mean, unless we've got prearranged agreements about things, and then we're role
Well,
playing, and that's a whole other
and
story, and that's a
the
whole other
thing that I've
podcast.
talked about with my friend that
Mhm.
my new friend is
You know, Bo?
yeah, is that we touch each other and we love on each other without the expectation that it's going to lead to sex, because
That's the other caveat.
both of
Oh,
us
sure, I'll give you a massage, but there's that expectation that the pants are
exactly,
gonna come off. Like,
and
really?
both
I
of us
just need you to
have
rub
this
my fucking shoulders, man. My shoulders hurt.
right. Both of us have this hang up because we're both raised in really toxic environments, and we both
Mhm.
have this hang up where if you touch someone, it has to lead to a certain thing,
Yeah, or
and
you're leading them on if you don't.
exactly, and both of us have kind of like we're trying to
There's the
unlearn
shame. There's the shame. Mhm.
that they're gonna be disappointed. I'm leading them
No,
on. I'm turning them on. Oh no,
no.
she's gonna be so turned on. He's gonna have blue balls, whatever. No, and so we were talking about this that if it does, awesome. If it doesn't, awesome.
Awesome.
Like, and
Did
so
you have a good time?
yes.
Then good.
And that's what we're both like. Both of us are like,
And would you like to do it again?
we're on the same page, but because I talked to you for 12
But
hours
you're
about this.
still both working through the
Right.
shame and the trauma of the
Exactly.
bullshit you were raised in
I
and what
literally
was
did talk to you
modeled
about this
for
the
you.
whole time, basically, but no, we've had so many conversations about it,
Uh-huh.
he and
Mhm.
I, and
Mhm.
where we are like, okay, we take a step back and we're like, yes, we enjoy each other's company. We care about each other greatly. We have this really healthy communication. Everything is amazing. And it doesn't have to lead to this. And we're on the same page, but we keep checking to make sure the other one is actually there.
Which is good. It's
Because we're
healthy
like, but
though.
are you
And at a
really?
certain point, it probably is gonna get to it like, okay, we
We're
need to
getting
get
there.
more comfortable. But at the same time, right
Well,
now,
we
if
are.
that's what you both need, or either one of you, of that, I still need that extra reassurance to make sure that we're
Yeah.
still on the same page. Because
Yeah.
you both are healing very, very old wounds. I mean,
We really, really are.
rebuilding how to be in a relationship in a healthy way,
Neither
in
of
an
us know how to
open, and very honest,
neither of us know.
vulnerable. There's
You know,
the word that I'm working on. Yeah,
the emotional vulnerability is
and this is not linear.
really,
This healing.
really
Oh.
uncomfortable being emotionally vulnerable with someone
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I have
Yep.
my entire life, I have been emotionally vulnerable to a point. And then there's a line. And I do not cross that line with anybody.
Oh, I love you, but if I saw
And
you like
now
bawling
I'm
and fucking tears, I would be over at you at a heartbeat going, "Oh my God, who hurt you?" Because
I just don't
I know
cry.
you are an emotional feeling individual, but you do not.
I don't
I'm the
emote.
crier. When you see me,
I don't
I'm the
emote.
crier.
I don't emote.
No.
And it's true. I don't.
So,
Like you
and
usually can't. You can tell
I
when
would
I'm
be very
thinking,
concerned.
but I
Yeah.
don't put out a lot of emotion.
No.
I don't.
Mm.
And that's true. My kids have accused me of this also, and I completely agree with them. They're
Well,
like,
it's
Mom,
a trauma response.
it's a trauma response. It is. All these cats are just on
I know,
my
I
show.
love it.
So, yeah, I hope she doesn't go in the blinds. So, yeah, that's the thing is I have gone all the way emotionally, and I'm
No.
completely vulnerable, and he is also. And I'm just like, I told him, I was like, this is
Nope.
scary because I'm basically handing everybody like him the keys to like, here's how you hurt me. Here's
Yep.
it is scary.
Here's the key to everything that's me. Dude, be gentle.
But then the other night I got drunk and picked a massive fight with him
Oh.
out of nowhere. Poor guy.
Okay, drunk you should not be that drunk, and maybe shouldn't. You got things to deal with, but see, you're not in
Your
therapy.
internet.
Did you lose me again?
Your internet dropped for a second.
See, it's a
it was
problem.
okay. It turned out okay. We worked through some stuff, but
good.
I just
because that is important when you do have the fuck ups that you can work through them.
we talked about it.
You
He was
just
like,
shouldn't just pack up all your shit and move the fuck out.
and that's what I told him. I was like, so here's my real issue is we had a great night, and then the next day he said something completely he didn't realize. He said something that he was realizing about himself, but he didn't know that the way he phrased it hurt me and kind of dimmed the time we'd had the day before.
Yeah, okay.
It kind of like diminished my feelings, and I didn't say anything in the moment because I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're having this hard time."
Right.
So I put it down, and then I got a couple beers in me, and then
it came right back up.
And then I was like, "Let's watch one of my favorite movies, Kate and Leopold," which is super sweet, romantic, and I love that movie. And so I'm just kind of word vomiting all over him, and poor guy. And so I felt awful, and that was of course the day before Thanksgiving, and so we're already a mess, and everybody's a mess, and we're talking about my mother. And
so that made Thanksgiving even better. Oh, good God, child, girl.
So, yeah, that was Thanksgiving I was with friends, so I was fine. But
it's true because you guys did stuff earlier for that.
So bad, and I mean it's fine now, but I felt just absolutely horrible.
No.
So we watched a movie last night with no word vomit and no drinking. And I mean, I had like one drink.
Yeah. No.
We watched John Dies at the End, and it was a good movie. I liked it. Anyway, so do you have anything else you want to say? Want to share?
If you haven't read Elliot Page's book, Page Boy, do.
I will. I need to.
Everybody. Oh my God.
Audiobook. Does he do the audio?
Yeah, it's audio, and he reads it. Oh my God, and he reads it. Yeah, no, I listened to it in audiobook.
That's what I'm gonna do.
It was great because you really do feel like, oh, look, they're telling me their life story. This is so great. Because yeah, I fell in love with Elliot. Elliot's great. Yeah.
I need to.
That book is amazing.
And then I want to read Britney Spears' book.
Well, in his book, not only is it great for the trans positivity and obviously the struggles of being trans and being gay, and being a celebrity and all these things. But there's a lot of mental health things
in limelight, you know.
And it's seeing the life that Elliot came from, Nova Scotia. Fucking Nova Scotia, which yes, people is in Canada. Okay, it's not across the ocean. It's part of Canada.
Literally in Canada.
Yeah, it's in Canada, but a lot of people, and Elliot will talk about how there are a lot of people like, where the fuck is Nova Scotia? Like, you can drive there from here. It's a long drive, but you can do it. But anyway, I digress. No, but there's a lot of good stuff about.
That's where Anna Green Gables is from.
Shitty parent relationships, separated parents. Parent remarrying, having stepchildren, what it's like raising my environment. There's a lot of these things that you're going to relate to, even if you're not trans, if you've come from weird shit family backgrounds, and dealing with your own mental health and having to find yourself. And really the whole book on the end, now as I'm speaking out loud about it, is finding yourself.
Okay.
And embracing that part, finding yourself and loving yourself for who you are and not for what other people expect you to be.
Oh, that's huge.
And it's scary to do that, and Elliot struggled with that, especially as a celebrity, for a very long time. Of, do I come out? When do I come out? How do I come out?
A certain, and then he'd been cast as
Juno. Juno set him off,
which was a huge movie. But then that's who you are.
But now they need a girly girl. You know, Juno was great because at least
Well,
the
it was
character Elliot played was more of a tomboy.
tomboy, but girl next door kind of tomboy.
Yeah, but you know, they wanted more Elliot to do more movies of put a dress on. Like, could we not put a dress on? There's a lot of struggles about wearing dresses. Neurodivergents, I think, are really going to relate to a lot of this shit as well.
He was always very cute and very kind of like, he did have like the next door kind of like sweetheart. Excuse me.
No, but I just recently read that. Another one, if you're into the political side of things, you should totally read Enough. And right now, her name is completely gone out of my head, but it's Meadows, Chief of Staff.
Oh, okay.
God, her name just completely went out of my head.
I don't remember that one.
Enough is the name of the book, and she reads it as well for the audiobook, so that's another great one. And she talks a lot about her very fucked up childhood.
Yeah.
Her father, oh my god, that man's insane. But she comes from, you know, more farm country living, so it's another good thing if you can relate to. And it's like, yeah, how do you end up being in this role in this place at her age?
Yeah.
And then, you know, what have you learned and how did you get out of that? And so it's a really good story, that whole thing there. So if you're into any of that type of side of things, that's another really good one to go listen.
And then my recommendation is always I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Yeah, that one's, I'm on the wait list with the library because I finally saw that they've got the audio for that one. And so I'm looking forward to that. But there's like
and
15
you will
people in
understand
line.
To
a lot
Mormon
of it.
stuff. Like,
I didn't realize she was until you told me, because I knew I was going to relate to it listening to the interview with Trevor Noah.
Absolutely.
And so it was like, oh, and then you told me about, I'm like, oh god.
Mormon.
Yeah, no, I'm on the wait list.
She thought that, because I mean, we all have these weird little quirks because we were told that we have the Holy Ghost. So she thought that if she started getting like OCD stuff, like if she flipped the lights a certain number of times, then her mom would stay alive. Or if she did this a certain number of times, then her family would be okay. Or if she did this a certain way and she prayed a certain way, if she crossed her feet or crossed her eyes or whatever, then everybody would be okay because it was like her own prayer.
Yep.
And
yeah, OCD like that is definitely rooted in these superstitious.
Yeah,
the brain just is.
We're taught that things we do affect our families.
It gives a false sense of control.
Yeah, which is what.
And that's where, to my very limited, unprofessional understanding of OCD stems from, which is like folks should really limit their use of saying. And yeah, absolutely, anxiety.
That's just why I have anxiety.
I should have. I realized. Speaking
I've never
of,
had control over my entire life. I try to control what I can.
I rearrange my room a lot.
Stress it.
When I get that way, and I should have realized that was a warning sign, because I had just recently started rearranging majorly the master bedroom, and then I kept rearranging my desk. I'm glad that I can at least go, that's a warning sign, and that's an early, for me, warning sign. If I have to start rearranging things, I need to. You have to start. I need to do something. I need to get back into therapy if I'm not in it already.
Now you know. Now you know.
So again, no, the shit show that's happened, flipping my world upside down, absolutely sucks, and I hate that it took that. But there are things that are being learned, and as I do better, I strive to continue that way.
So well, and
I'm grateful that JJ is still holding space for both of us. Well, we're both still holding space for each other to be able to talk about these things. Absolutely. Because we know a lot about each other. And so, yeah, there's not a lot of people I can reach out to that I don't have to explain a ton to, express things. So, but go read, go check out your library. Mm-hmm.
Once I finish this other book that I'm reading, that's super weird. All right.
Love you. Be good to yourselves.
Make good choices. All right. I'll talk to you. Bye.
Up with the Amy's droning on week after week. If you enjoy their delightful bitchcraft, please follow them on all of the social medias and send them all of your money on Patreon or PayPal. You can find them on these platforms by using the Google machine. It's not hard. If you want to bitch with other fans about the show, join the Secret Soup Talk Facebook group. If you want to tell Amy and Amy to fuck off personally, you can send an email to secularsouppodcast@gmail.com, although it may go unanswered. Please rate and review the show on iTunes, Facebook, and wherever else you can review things like this. It will help spread the soup gospel far and wide. And hey, text someone right now. Tell your friends. As always, we'll leave you with the vocal stylings of Mr. Eli Bosnick.
Secular soup creed. Soup is the ultimate virtue. It's delicious, nutritious, patriarchy smashing, racism fighting, warm and fuzzy, human affirming, fun having, anti-theist, glitter throwing, tummy satisfying, pair of new shoes fulfilling, diversity seeking, happiness. Minestrone, beef and barley, chicken broth and split pea, gazpacho, tomato, clam chowder and potato, chicken noodle, beef noodle, egg drop and ramen cup, miso, gumbo, leek and pho. Grab a bowl and taste the magic. Slurp even this.